Republican primary today did not see a familiar face on the ballot. Former President Donald Trump opted out of participating. He instead chose to appear on the ballot for the Republican Party-run caucus on Thursday. Under a 2021 law, Nevada is required to hold presidential primary elections as long as there are two candidates for a party's nomination. Republican Party officials, though, decided last year to hold a binding caucus. They also tried unsuccessfully to stop the state from holding the primary. Now, this as the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals made a historic decision today limiting presidential immunity.
The three-judge panel ruling former President Donald Trump is not immune from criminal prosecution and can be put on trial for allegedly trying to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election. WAAY 31 evening anchor Nicole Williams joins us now with the latest.
Well, this ruling goes against the former president's claims that he's immune from prosecution. This is a question that many people have been asking for a long time across the country. The judge's decision today makes it plain that presidents can, in fact, be held accountable for crimes they commit while in office. House Speaker Mike Johnson today coming to former president's defense.
I believe that they've been after President Trump for partisan political purposes. I think that's obvious, and we call it lawfare, and I think there's no other way to describe it.
The former president responding on the Truth Social today, saying the president of the U.S. must have full immunity in order to properly function and do what has to be done for the good of the country. No word yet on this ruling from the Democrats. The former president is expected to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. In studio with coverage you can count on, Nicole Williams, WAAY 31 News.
Entertainer, hip-hop artist, and community advocate, WAAY 31 shining the spotlight on Black North Alabamians who are making a difference right here in the Rocket City. This story coming up in our 4:30 half hour.
Dividing up millions of dollars in taxpayer money, Alabama agencies laying out their need for the additional funding in front of state lawmakers. Still ahead, how some of that money could go toward keeping you and your family safe.
And we're going to start to get spoiled with these mild temperatures. I'll let you know how much longer it will last before our next cool down ahead in your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker forecast.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WAAY 31 News at 4 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle.
New at 4, Los Angeles records more than 300 mudslides during a storm that brought record-setting rain across Southern California. This is new video showing one of those mudslides that caused a house to collapse. The Los Angeles fire chief says 5 buildings are now deemed uninhabitable. Even with the rain slowing down, officials warn mudslides can continue even after the storm passes. Jacqueline Lee is in Los Angeles with that story.
Stunning new aerials out of Southern California as rain pummels the region for a third day.
We thought maybe the storm had finished yesterday, but it came out with a vengeance again this morning.
The storm knocking down this towering tree in the affluent Pacific Palisades neighborhood of Los Angeles, its base ripped out of the ground. And near Beverly Hills, a mudslide carving its own path down a steep canyon.
Here you can see the sheer force of this mudslide. This house used to be sitting up on the foundation. It's sliding all the way down, burying this car over here. There's another car underneath the rubble, and miraculously, all the residents got out safely.
With more than 300 mudslides, residents are on high alert.
As Mayor Bass and I have surveyed some of the worst slides yesterday, I was reminded of the pure force and magnitude with which a hillside can suddenly come down.
The National Weather Service calling this a historic storm, the third wettest two-day stretch since records started in the 1870s.
This is the LA River. If you're not familiar with this, normally it's a trickle. You can see just how strong that water is moving right now, those white caps, those rapids. And keep in mind, it only takes 6 inches of water to knock somebody off of their feet.
And first responders saving a man who jumped into the swift-moving waters to rescue his dog. Firefighters pulled him into a helicopter. His dog was found alive downstream. In Northern California, winds were the worry. 3 people killed by falling trees, and this woman narrowly avoiding disaster after a tree slammed into the roof of her car.
And officials are increasingly concerned about additional mudslides, which can happen even after the storm passes. There is another storm moving through California tomorrow. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A contractor faces a fine over a man's heat-related death. The 33-year-old man died in July while working to form concrete curbs. OSHA says the heat index that day soared to 107 degrees. The worker fell victim to the heat and died at the hospital. OSHA proposed a $16,000 fine against SJ&L General Contractors for the man's death. The company now has 2 weeks to contest the potential fine. And added protection for older Americans. Federal health regulators are considering extending RSV vaccines to Americans as young as 50. If approved, those who have an underlying medical condition could receive Arexvy. Last year, the FDA approved 2 vaccines for adults age 60 and older. A decision is expected by June 7th ahead of the next RSV season. One federal lawmaker is pushing drug makers to lower the cost of several expensive medications. This as Medicare continues its first ever negotiations with the companies. Senator Bernie Sanders issued a report Tuesday highlighting the cost of 3 blockbuster drugs that are far pricier here in the U.S. compared to other countries. This includes a blood thinner that reduces the risk of stroke. In the U.S., it costs about $7,100, but in Japan, the U.K., and Canada, it's sold for under $1,000. 3 big drug makers, including Johnson & Johnson, are set to appear in front of the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions this Thursday. On Wall Street, stocks drifted most of the day, but managed to finish slightly higher.
Yeah, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 141 points to close at 38,521. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 11 points. The S&P 500 also finished the trading day 11 points higher.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Another great looking day here across the area. Unfortunately, the days like this, they are short in number. By the weekend, we're still talking our next weather maker. It'll actually be a series of disturbances in the atmosphere rolling on through, and that is going to keep rain in the forecast. It will be off and on, so not continuous, but starting Friday, likely not wrapping up until sometime early next week. There will be some dry spells, but those will likely be limited in number. 1 to 3 inches of rain possible. That's not a bad thing. We still have droughts in place here across the area, so that will help with that. Just makes it difficult for your outdoor plans. And a positive note, staying mild. So even though we've got the rain coming on in, it's not necessarily going to be accompanied by colder temperatures. We'll save that for after the rain heading into next week. Here is a preview of the weekend. 80% now your chance for rain Saturday. 64 will be the high. Still a 60% chance for rain on Sunday. but mild temperatures remaining above average for this time of year in the low 60s. We have no weather concerns as we take you through the next several days, at least Wednesday, Thursday. Our threat tracker should be pretty good. I think by Friday, though, starting to work some rain back in here. Not necessarily high impact wet weather, more nuisance rain than anything else, but expect that as we close out the week. For now, though, WAAY 31 triple Doppler, all clear. 3 radars scanning across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee and finding nothing. Barely a few clouds out there. That is about it here for the rest of this evening and on into tonight. We'll check things out here next 24 hours with future radar. Again, heading into the evening hours with calm conditions. Skies will be generally clear overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Just some of those thin cirrus clouds like we've seen roll through at times today. We head through a good chunk of your Wednesday, and I think we'll still have a fair amount of sunshine, especially through the noon hour tomorrow. Late in the day, starting to get some cloudiness coming back in. And we will see more of this arriving on Thursday. Still no rain at that point, but cutting back on the sunshine just a little bit there heading into your Thursday. But we'll hold off the rain chances again until Friday. For tonight, another cold one similar to last night. Temperatures will be down in the 30s, maybe hitting freezing in some areas here in northeast Alabama. Rainsville down to 32. Same for Mentone, 33 in Stevenson. New Hope, Owens Crossroads area around 34. Same for Huntsville, back towards Madison. Falkville 34 tonight. Athens looking for a light freeze there, 31. And out here into the Shoals, temperatures will be cold as well. Florence 34, 34 degrees in Russellville and down to 33, almost freezing there in Town Creek. Breaking down your forecast tomorrow, again, just some of those thin cirrus clouds until late in the day when they will start to increase a bit. Light south breeze, that will keep things mild once again. 40 degrees around 8 in the morning. Close to 60 at the noon hour, and we will make it back once again into the 60s tomorrow afternoon. Very similar to today, mid to upper 60s likely, about 67 for Muscle Shoals, Scottsboro 63, Huntsville, Athens, Decatur 64, 65 degrees for you tomorrow afternoon. Here is that 10-day forecast, and again, we're dry through Thursday, but turning mostly cloudy at that point. 61 will be the high temperature. There's your rainfall working our way starting Friday, continuing Saturday, Sunday, probably into Monday as well. Again, it will not be continuous rain, but right now a little difficult to plan those outdoor activities over that weekend. Temperatures will take a little bit of a tumble next week. Not a huge drop, but getting back into the 50s for highs after the rain moves out. That, though, a little more seasonal for this time of year than the 60s that we're enjoying now.
Oh, yeah, we will absolutely take the
I'll take
60s,
those 4
though.
words, not a huge drop.
Not a huge drop,
I like that.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
You bet.
Country fans everywhere, including here in Alabama, of course, mourning the loss of a legend.
New and next at 4, the tributes pouring in after country star Toby Keith lost his battle with cancer.
This is sad news. New at 4 tributes pouring in now for country music star Toby Keith.
The 62-year-old died Monday night following a battle against stomach cancer. Toby Keith is known for some of the industry's most patriotic songs, to include American Soldier and Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. He also topped party playlists with Red Solo Cup, and that's what he's singing right there.
There you go.
In fact, his first #1 hit, Should Have Been a Cowboy, you may or may not have known, was the most played country song of the 90s. Keith had a larger-than-life presence and was known for standing his ground.
You know, when he said he felt a way about something, he felt that way about it, and he didn't often ever change his mind. He never pivoted on anything.
Of course, his highly publicized feud with the Dixie Chicks comes top of mind here. Country stations like North Alabama's Kicks 96 out in the Shoals have been playing a lot of his hits today in his memory. Toby Keith played at least twice in the Huntsville area. He played at the VBC in 2003 and then again at Redstone Arsenal in 2013.
The safety of the flying public is our mission.
The top leader at the FAA weighs in on safety in the skies.
Live report from the nation's capital where he testified. And that is still ahead at 4:30.
Coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 4:30.
Another dry day across North Alabama. How much longer before rain returns? I'll have the answer coming up in your forecast.
Inflation hitting hard. State lawmakers hearing budget requests from several state agencies who say they need millions more in taxpayer dollars to make ends meet.
hundreds of people coming out to the Decatur Chamber of Commerce hiring event today. I'm WAAY 31's Maddie McCaffrey in the River City with more on this and how a deadly police shooting has impacted the economy.
Bring the Rocket City community together. A look at a North Alabama man making a difference in kids' lives as we honor the achievements and legacies of African Americans here in the Tennessee Valley.
Thanks for sticking with us. For WAAY 31 News at 4:30, I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel. It's a beautiful day all across North Alabama. We can't really look at that enough, can we, as the sun's starting to set? But unfortunately, that sunshine's not going to hang around too much longer.
What about that? Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle back for his second day, busy tracking the changes for at least one more day of full sunshine ahead, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Tomorrow's going to be very similar to what we have seen across the area today. We're continuing to rest up WAAY 31 triple Doppler in anticipation of rain back in the forecast heading into the weekend, and we'll chat more about that on the way in just a few minutes. Here's what it looks like. Again, we showed you that view of Guntersville, 61 degrees there. In Huntsville, 65, Decatur, 65, Muscle Shoals, very nice at 67 degrees. Hopefully you're enjoying the mild weather. This time next week, it is going to turn cooler, not significantly colder, but it won't be as pleasant during the afternoons as what we've had here so far this week. Heading into the evening hours, we will see the temperatures steadily drop off under mostly clear skies and a light north wind, going from the 60s back into the 50s by 6 this evening, and then we'll continue to drop off through the 40s. So if you're going to be out this evening, probably want to have that warm jacket or hoodie as you head out here in the coming hours. I'll be back in a few moments, again tracking those changes ahead just in time for the weekend coming up in your forecast.
Rain or shine, remember you can stay ahead of the weather with our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. You'll have access to Jeff's forecast plus our 31 triple Doppler. Best of all, it is absolutely free to download on all your devices. Lawmakers are back in Montgomery this afternoon to kick off the 2024 legislative session.
More than 24 bills were pre-filed, with discussion expected to start as soon as tomorrow. The state legislature website shows the State Governmental Affairs Committee is set to meet at 1:30. They plan to talk about an absentee voting bill as well as a bill impacting the Alabama Archives Department. Governor Kay Ivey will unveil her priorities during the annual State of the State address tonight.
It's set to begin at 6 o'clock at the Alabama State Capitol. She's expected to lay out an education savings account bill, legislation she says ensures every student has the opportunity for high-quality education.
During the session, state lawmakers will also figure out how to divide up more than $460 million extra dollars in the general fund. The chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee says $100 million is already allocated to state prisons.
Still, several state agencies, including the State Department of Mental Health and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, hope to get some extra funding this year. They laid out their request in front of lawmakers Monday. ALEA Secretary Hal Taylor says the 42% budget increase he's requesting covers not only trooper salaries, but also training and a new communication system to help keep his troopers and the people they serve safe.
We have in-car radios and we can communicate. We do have some dead spots in the area, but when the trooper gets out of the road, gets out of the car and in the road, working a wreck, writing ticket, we have no communications. What this would do is give us more interoperability with other counties and cities and other agencies because it's a multi-band and we don't have that right now.
Now, he says the additional funding will also cover new body-worn cameras and in-car cameras, as well as replacing older vehicles. The State Department of Mental Health asked for a $39 million increase spread out across the general fund and the Education Trust Fund. Officials say the additional funds will go towards workforce investments, crisis care, enhanced support for people with developmental disabilities, and substance use resources. According to ADAM, there's one mental health provider for every 850 people in Alabama, compared to the average across the country of 350 people per provider.
I think that it lowers the grounds of impeachment to a point where we can expect it to be leveled against every conservative Supreme Court justice, every future Republican president and cabinet member the moment the Democrats take control, and there'll be nobody there to stop them.
In a dramatic vote tonight in the House, lawmakers will decide whether to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. But it's still not clear whether House Republicans have enough support. ABC's Em Nguyen reports President Biden is also criticizing Republicans for vowing to block the new bipartisan package of border reforms and additional foreign aid.
Tonight, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas could become the first cabinet official impeached in almost 150 years.
Our border is an unbelievable disaster.
House Republicans accusing Mayorkas of willfully refusing to enforce immigration laws and of lying to Congress that the border is secure. If all House members are present, they can only lose 3 votes to pass the resolution, and 2, including Representative Tom McClintock of California, have already signaled they're a no vote.
When you're an outlier on a subject, you better be damn sure you're right. I've looked at this pretty carefully.
I'm talking about
Democrats have called the GOP's effort a political stunt.
Now they want to impeach a man for not doing his job when you didn't give him the resources to do it.
This vote comes as Mayorkas played a key role in negotiating the new Senate bipartisan border and foreign aid bill, which includes $20 billion for border security, $60 billion for Ukraine, and $14 billion for Israel. But the bill is on the brink of collapse after House Speaker Mike Johnson declared it dead on arrival in the House.
They sent us a supplemental funding proposal that has immigration reform, but not real border security reform.
This comes after former President Trump rallied Republicans against the bill.
All indications are this bill won't even move forward to the Senate floor. Why? A simple reason: Donald Trump.
A key test vote on the border bill initially set for Wednesday may be blocked or delayed. In the House, if Mayorkas is impeached, the Democratic-controlled Senate is certain to acquit him. M1, ABC News, Washington.
The head of the Federal Aviation Administration testifying on Capitol Hill for the first time.
On the other side of the break, his take on safety in the sky and how the agency is protecting passengers.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WAAY 31 News at 4:30 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle.
Mayor, before you leave, I am going to actually address something that you might want to stay for.
Decatur's mayor says he plans to keep working for the people, even after tense moments where Councilman Billy Jackson last night called for his resignation. Mayor Bowling previously said he would not stay for public comments at meetings because he felt it was no longer productive to hear from people speaking about the Steve Perkins police shooting investigation. We reached out to Mayor Bowling earlier today for a comment, and he said, quote, "Councilman Jackson and I don't always see eye to eye, but I know he and I both care deeply about Decatur and our citizens. He's welcome to have his own opinions and to share them as he sees fit." Happening now, a huge job fair is underway at Decatur's Ingalls Harbor. A lot of companies looking to fill positions.
WAAY 31 reporter Maddie McCaffrey joins us live from that career fair with what it's been like so far. Hey, Maddie.
Yeah, hey, Dana Marie. I must say it's been a huge turnout so far. Nearly 300 people have already walked through the doors here looking to speak with the many companies that are inside looking to hire people. Dozens of companies have set up shop inside Ingalls Harbor looking to speak with candidates eager to fill out job applications. The line was way out the door of people eager to come in with their resumes when I got here earlier today. Now, I spoke with Amber Fortenberry, Director of Talent Development and Recruitment for Decatur Morgan County Chamber of Commerce, and she says they did not expect nearly as big of a turnout as we're seeing.
We were hoping for 100, you know. I mean, we just, job fairs and hiring events have not been what they were pre-COVID, and we're just so excited that we maybe are tapping into that workforce that we so desperately need.
Now, a lot of people I chatted with who are looking for jobs actually told me they are not Decatur residents. Now, I just spoke with a woman who was looking for a job here, and she tells me that the last 4 months here in Decatur, the aftermath of the deadly police shooting of Steve Perkins, has really impacted jobs and businesses here in Decatur. I'll have those details coming up on WAAY 31 News at 5. For now, I'm live in Decatur with coverage you can count on. Maddie McCaffrey, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Maddie. A new opportunity for folks wanting to get their commercial driver license. Drake State Community and Technical College, Madison County, and Huntsville City Schools are partnering to offer free CDL classes. HCS will provide space for the classes while Madison County donated a dump truck for training. You can find more information and sign up for those classes by looking for this story on our website, waaytv.com. And you can get free help with your taxes through the United Way of Morgan County. The organization says it's partnered with My Free Taxes to provide IRS certified specialists. Starting today, those specialists are available over the phone between 9 and 5 p.m. United Way says most people can file their taxes in about an hour. We have the number for help on our website, waaytv.com. Safety in the skies, front and center on Capitol Hill. The head of the Federal Aviation Administration gave his first congressional testimony since his swearing in last October.
Karen Kafa joins us from Washington this afternoon. Karen, it was also his first time facing lawmakers since last month's incident involving an Alaska Airlines Boeing jet that grounded all similar aircraft for weeks.
Yeah, Marie and Dan, and there were a lot of questions today about that Boeing 737 MAX 9 jet incident that saw a door plug fly off a plane in midair. And of course, questions about federal oversight of aircraft production. And with a post-pandemic passenger volume booming, lawmakers also had a lot of questions about safety and staffing.
Thank you. Federal Aviation Administration Administrator Michael Whitaker before a House subcommittee to take questions about safety in the skies for the first time since his Senate confirmation in October.
The safety of the flying public is our mission.
Lawmakers with particular scrutiny around the January 5th incident aboard an Alaska Airlines flight where a door plug flew off a Boeing aircraft in midair.
Make no mistake, this was a close call, too close.
That prompted the FAA to ground all similar aircraft, the Boeing 737 MAX 9, and announce changes to FAA oversight of commercial aircraft production.
We now have 20 inspectors on the ground in Boeing engaging with the employees in every phase of the manufacturing process.
Also addressed the ongoing shortage of air traffic controllers.
Increasing our controller ranks will help mitigate risks associated with controller fatigue.
And possible expansion of controller training programs within colleges and universities to boost the ranks.
Do you see new programs opening up as a result of your efforts?
I'd like to see that. It hasn't been our initial focus. We're trying to work with the schools that are already sort of set into that space, but I don't see any reason why other schools, particularly those with a technical bent, can't have this program as well.
Whitaker also said he plans to meet Wednesday with airline leaders to discuss safety trends.
Meanwhile, the National Transportation Safety Board today issued its preliminary report on that Alaska Airlines Boeing incident. The NTSB said that evidence indicates that 4 bolts that were supposed to hold the door plug in place were missing at the time of that blowout in January. Boeing, in a statement responding to the preliminary report, said they are working hard to make sure similar incidents do not reoccur. Dan and Marie.
Karen, can you tell us more about the NTSB's preliminary report on the Boeing MAX 9 incident last month? What they find out in that report that was released today?
Yeah, 19 pages of preliminary reporting from the last month or so. And Marie, the NTSB was able to draw this conclusion of sorts because they had that door plug. It had fallen 16,000 feet into someone's backyard in Portland, Oregon, and they gave it over to the NTSB. This finding also in line with what Alaska Airlines and United Airlines, who also flies that MAX 9, say they found when they looked at their fleets after this incident occurred. They said they also found some loose bolts. So certainly something that Boeing needs to address. Also, the FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker today saying there are more FAA boots on the ground at Boeing's plant in Washington State to oversee that quality control that's going on with these aircraft.
We certainly hope they get to the bottom of it. Karen Kafer reporting live for us. Thank you.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle with 31 Triple Doppler.
Had to enjoy that sunshine today. Almost a little too intense out on the patio because we're like, my wife and I sitting out there. It's like, wow, it's really hot out here. It was like in the mid-60s, but you know, you start to sweat a little bit.
That's that extra glow I'm seeing
Maybe
from
that's
you.
it.
That
yeah,
sunshine.
Got a little sun today.
One more full
Feels
day.
good out there. Yeah.
One more full day though, right?
Yeah, one more like that. And Maria, I see you got the purple memo.
Yeah, we did.
Dan,
He was too busy, busy basking in the sunshine today.
But
Maybe
yeah,
the
great
red
weather.
in my face and the blue in my tie, we can, you know, kind of figure
kind of blend in, you know, mix the colors. Yeah. Things are looking good though for one more day.
Okay.
And then we got changes on the way heading into the weekend. Mild temperatures, though, they're going to continue despite those weekend changes. We won't complain about this. At least there's no brutal Arctic cold moving back into the area, at least here in the near future. We'll have to wait and see if we do get another blast of winter before it's all said and done. But at least in the meantime, still kind of spring-like out there. These numbers in the low to mid-60s, which will persist into the weekend, above average for this time of year. This time next week, though, going to be a different story. Looking kind of long range, the temperature outlook starting middle of next week and continuing a few days beyond that, indicating here across the south, the southeast, and up into parts of the mid-Atlantic, we're trending colder than average during that time frame. So we will get rid of this milder weather. It won't stick around indefinitely, but we will certainly enjoy it while it lasts. We're going to enjoy this as well, the dry weather, while it lasts, because the end of this week and into the weekend will be a different story. Now, rain chances on Friday, they're back, kind of limited, and as we're getting closer, and I told you this yesterday, that as we got closer, we'd be kind of fine-tuning the rain chances. Friday trending a little bit drier, although there will be some scattered showers around. Now we're starting to see perhaps an increase in rain for the start of the weekend. This is 5 o'clock on your Friday, showing that wet weather. We head into Saturday. This is around 4 o'clock. This isn't good, especially for Saturday afternoon and evening plans. Some widespread rain from Tennessee down here into northern and parts of central Alabama. So a fairly soggy start to the weekend. May get a break Sunday morning. And as I mentioned last half hour, this is not going to be continuous rain. It's not going to rain from Friday through Monday with no stops. So we may get a break early in the day on Sunday. And then later in the day Sunday, here comes the next wave. So getting a little soggy again heading into your Sunday evening. And some of that rain lingers into early next week as well. For now, though, triple Doppler radar, it's all quiet, clean sweep all across the area, and it'll remain that way for at least another couple of days. For tonight, just tracking a little bit of a chill in the air again, down to 35 in Guntersville, Albertville area, 33 in Decatur, 32 in Moulton, will be down to 34 there in Muscle Shoals. Your planner tomorrow, another good-looking day. About all we'll see is some of these thin cirrus clouds like we saw roll through today, but still a decent amount of sunshine until perhaps the end of the day when we begin to see some clouds approaching from the west. 47 around 9 in the morning, 1 o'clock temperature. Looks good at 61, 62 at 3, and then backing down into the 50s around this time tomorrow afternoon. These are our expected highs. 63 Scottsboro, a little cooler up in Skyline there at 59. Hazel Green, Meridianville, 64. Also 64 in Huntsville, back out towards Madison. Decatur, 65. Rogersville, 65. Town Creek, 66 tomorrow. We'll go 67 out in Cherokee, and looking for similar temperatures there in Russellville. Checking things out here on your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker 10-day forecast. Keeping it mild into the weekend, but here comes the rain. 60% chance on Friday, 80% now on Saturday. Rain chances will go down slightly on Sunday, but we do expect to see that wet weather tapering off as we take you on into the early part of next week. There's your cool down. Instead of highs in the 60s, we will be back in the 50s starting the beginning of next week. We're going to take a quick break right here. Back with more WAAY 31 at 4 after these messages.
All month long, we're honoring the achievements and legacies of African Americans in the Tennessee Valley.
And today we spotlight Minister Fred Whitlow II, founder and director of No More Dirty Ministry, which serves as a community center that offers counseling, training, and activities for Huntsville youth. Here's WAAY 31 reporter Dave Brazelton.
We talked about perseverance, but this time we're going to talk about perseverance, people, and progress.
Minister Frederick Whitlow II, or Mr. Fred, is an entertainer, broadcast host, Christian hip-hop artist, and community advocate. His daily goal is seeing young people and communities thrive.
We believe every child, every family is great. And no matter what the background or the trauma or the issue, at the end of the day, we are a team.
Listen to me well. You're great.
His weekly radio and television programs are seen around the world with a message to make every human being know their worth and purpose.
Our talk show is called The Session Live. We're in about 17 countries. And you have something that you can sit out with your whole family, enjoy. You still get the entertainment, but you get the education and then you get the empowerment all in an hour show.
Minister Whitlow has a passion for young people, which is the main reason that he operates a community center in Northwest Huntsville called The Spot.
We create an environment like here at The Spot where lives transform. Everything that comes in is built and facilitated to transform one's life for the better.
A man that meets no strangers he encounters, Minister Fred Whitlow, too, celebrating the history and impact of African Americans in the Tennessee Valley. Dave Brazelton, WAAY 31 News.
And you can see this entire interview with Minister Fred Whitlow II and every other interview since the month started. Just visit our website, waaytv.com, and explore the Black History Month section.
Bids are now open for a new center for the Colbert EMA and 911. Why the EMA director says this is an important step. New and next on WAAY 31 News at 5.
You can count on. This is WAAY 31 News at 5.
One advocacy group is raising awareness about internet safety, what they say you can do to keep your kids safe online.
Hundreds of people looking for jobs here in the River City, but has a deadly police shooting played a role on the economy here? I'm WAAY 31's Maddie McCaffrey, indicator with those details.
Rain coming back for those weekend plans. I'll have the latest details in your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker forecast.
Thanks for joining us for WAAY 31 News at 5. I'm Dan Schaefer.
And I'm Marie Waxel. Another day of feeling like, dare I say it, spring? out there.
I'm going to play hooky today, that's for sure.
Let's bring in severe weather expert storm tracker Jeff Castle tonight on his second full day here at WAAY.
Jeff, you seem to have brought the beautiful weather. Let's keep it going. What do you think?
I think we can. At least one more day that it's going to be as nice as today turned out. And then the weekend. We started talking about this here in the last few days that we'd likely have another wet weekend. And unfortunately, nothing is changing. This is what we're looking at, perhaps with our future radar, 5 p.m. on Saturday. Perhaps some widespread rain here across portions of North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. I'll take a look at the wet weather, what it means for your weekend plans coming up in your forecast. For now, though, hey, we're enjoying this picture right now. WAAY 31 triple Doppler network showing clean sweep again all across the area. And that nice weather is going to persist through at least tomorrow before some changes will start to come in. First with cloud cover, and then with some rainfall at the end of the week. Looking live outside right now with our WAAY 31 Skycam network powered by Thompson Roofing and Construction. This is Space and Rocket Center looking from Calhoun Community College, and no problems out there, no weather concerns for the commute home. We'll have to hope that traffic stays nice out there for the folks about ready to head home from work. Breaking down your forecast here over the next 12 hours. We'll stay quiet, dropping through the 50s through 6. We'll be in the 40s again by 8 o'clock this evening. By midnight, down into the 30s, and we will not be too far away from that freezing mark overnight tonight. In fact, some of you will likely hit 32 or just below by early tomorrow morning. Back in a few moments, again, talking rain, talking mild temperatures. We'll have the latest on those changes for the weekend on the way in your forecast.
And you want to make sure you are always weather aware, and you can do that by downloading our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. If you don't have it already, with our app, you'll have instant access to our 31 triple Doppler, which will alert you of any rain in your area. Best of all, it is free to download. A former Huntsville City Schools employee charged with having sex with a student is now out on bond. Police arrested 58-year-old Dwayne Yarborough after a Madison County grand jury indicted him last month on 2 charges. According to Huntsville City Schools, Yarborough served as a JROTC instructor at Lee and New Century Technology High Schools from July 2016 to October 2022. Guilty. That's the verdict delivered today in the Jennifer Crumbley trial. She's now the first parent in the U.S. to be convicted in their child's attack. A jury of 6 men and 6 women delivered the decision after roughly 11 hours of deliberation over the course of 2 days and 2 weeks of testimony. Here's Craig Schilling, whose son Justin was killed, reacting to that verdict.
You wouldn't have to go through any of this if you would have just done your job as a parent.
Jennifer Crumbley will be sentenced in April. She's now facing up to 60 years in prison. Her husband, James, faces the same charges. His trial is expected to begin next month.
New at 5 right now, bids have been opened for the renovation of an old TVA medical building to be transformed into Colbert County's EMA and 911 center. Currently, their operations are in the basement of the Colbert County Annex, which they share with the county jail and 2 other agencies. The EMA director says this is an important step toward moving into a new independent complex.
This is something we've been waiting on for a long time, and so having going through this process one time and having to reject bids, you know, we're still a little bit on edge, but we're excited. We feel like that we've put together another good package where we'll be able to proceed with it today.
Renovations could start as early as March, and if all goes according to plan, the new EMA 911 center could be ready to occupy by this time next year. New on WAAY 31 News at 5, Alabama law enforcement and local agencies join forces to protect children online, as today marks Safer Internet Day.
WAAY 31 reporter Paige Meyer joins us live this evening. And Paige, you spoke with the National Children's Advocacy Center leaders there. What did they have to say?
Marie, that's right. The NCAC here in Huntsville tells me that parents are the key to keeping kids safer online. They tell me just having a conversation with children about the dangers that are out there can make a difference. Now, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency says the internet presents risks for vulnerable individuals such as children and teenagers. They say sextortion in particular has emerged as a persuasive threat. This refers to the manipulation of victims into providing sexual images or engaging in sexual activities online, often through coercion or blackmail. Pam with the NCAC says the internet and new technology can be intimidating for parents, but asking your children simple questions about their devices can go a long way in maintaining their safety.
There's lots of different apps and lots of different kinds of devices, and it's good to be familiar with those things and to ask your kids about what new game they're playing. It's really a great idea to talk to them about the apps that they're using, maybe have a way that you're controlling which apps they're using, those kinds of things.
Pam says if parents find it hard to start a conversation with their child, talking about their classmates and what applications they use on their smartphone may be a good segue into the conversation. Now make sure to stick around for WAAY 31 News at 6 because you'll hear you'll hear some tips from the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency about how you can protect your kids online. But for now, reporting live in Huntsville with coverage you can count on. Paige Meyer, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Paige. That's an important topic. A big job fair is still underway over at Ingalls Harbor in Decatur. Let's check in again with WAAY 31's Maddie McCaffrey, who is there now. Maddie, a lot of people showed up for this one.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. I'm here at Ingalls Harbor, and hundreds of people have shown up to this hiring event looking for jobs with the companies that set up shop inside. Hundreds of people came in to speak with these companies, and a lot of people I spoke with told me they don't actually live in Decatur, but neighboring cities. However, I did meet Wanda Stanford, who is a paralegal looking for a job. She lives in Decatur, and she tells me that she's seen the deadly police shooting of Steve Perkins impact businesses and the economy.
It hasn't actually stopped people. It's stopped them from wanting to do anything for the city of Decatur. So anything that the city of Decatur will benefit from, because the city is kind of taking their time with justice.
And Wanda says she personally knows a lot of people who have stopped shopping in Decatur in recent months due to what they say is the city's poor handling of the deadly shooting of Steve Perkins. Wanda also told me that she wants to see the city of Decatur heal and people to come together, as since September 29th, there has been a lot of hurt. Now, the Decatur Morgan County Chamber of Commerce tells me that today's hiring event was a huge success. A lot more people came out looking for jobs than they expected. For now, I'm live in Decatur with coverage you can count on. Maddie McCaffrey, WAAY 31 News.
Thanks, Maddie. Alabama A&M is also trying to help its students and alumni get jobs. The university plans to hold a career fair of its own on Thursday. Those students can meet and interview with employers in the Huntsville area. Organizers say it'll take place in the Student Health and Wellness Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're asked to dress professionally and bring multiple copies of your resume. Governor Kay Ivey is set to give her annual State of the State address.
It begins at 6 p.m. tonight at the state capitol. She's expected to reveal her education savings bill tonight, a topic at the forefront of her 2024 legislative agenda. Governor Ivey's also expected to outline a comprehensive plan for the coming year, addressing issues and legislative priorities. Meanwhile, voters in Nevada are at the polls today, but there's a lot of confusion as Republicans deal with dueling primary contests. It's because there are two GOP primary contests this year. The one is today, and it's the state primary where former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is listed. The other's on Thursday, where former President Donald Trump is participating in the caucus.
Do the caucus, not the primary. The primary is meaningless.
Nevada's state law scrapped the presidential caucuses in favor of a primary back in 2021, but the state's Republican Party opted to continue to hold the caucus this year and award the state's delegates that way. New at 5, sometimes heart disease isn't diagnosed until a person has a heart attack or signs of heart failure, and smoking is a major risk factor for the disease.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a former smoker about why she decided to quit and how smokers can kick the habit for good.
When a person smokes, chemicals from the cigarette can cause the lining of blood vessels to swell and become inflamed. This can narrow those vessels and lead to heart problems.
I was a very healthy person. I ran every day. I ate correctly. The only one thing I did wrong was smoke.
After more than 20 years of smoking, Tammy says she was diagnosed with heart disease and underwent open heart surgery.
I was on life support for 2 days, and I had to fight my way back from death. So 2 days later, I woke up laying there with tubes in my throat, my hands tied down, and wondering what would happen, what went wrong. And it was at that point I knew it was a cigarette.
It's never too late to quit.
The CDC has a network of what's called quit lines, telephone centers that pair smokers who call in with trained counselors who can help with those who want to quit.
And once you get through those couple of uncomfortable days of nicotine withdrawal, you do begin to feel better and lower your risks of developing diseases caused by smoking, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, and COPD.
You will have to pay for smoking, so please don't quit quitting. Reach out for help.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill scrutinizing the FAA chief after last month's midair scare.
One city in California declaring a state of emergency. We'll show you why next.
And a look at a plan officials in Leeton are working on to try to fix an old water tank. Why they say there's an urgent need to prevent running dangerously low on water like they did during the recent ice storm. That's tonight on WAAY 31 News at 6.
Coverage you can count on. You're watching WAAY 31 News at 5 with Dan Schaefer, Marie Waxel, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle.
Safety in the skies, front and center on Capitol Hill today. FAA head Michael Whitaker gave his first congressional testimony since his swearing in October. It was also his first time facing lawmakers since last month's incident involving an Alaska Airlines Boeing jet that grounded all similar aircraft for weeks.
Make no mistake, this was a close call, too close.
The strikes weren't the only topic of discussion again today. In addition to that grounding of those planes, Whitaker also addressed the ongoing shortage of air traffic controllers. He plans to meet Wednesday with airline leaders to discuss safety trends.
Record-breaking storms ravaging California since the weekend will move east in the days ahead. The storm landing a final powerful blow on the Los Angeles area as it moves out. Mike Valerio has the latest after the city's mayor declared a state of emergency.
This is Los Angeles on Tuesday. Raging rivers swollen by flooding. Around 30 million people are under threat of flooding in Southern California, Arizona, and Nevada. It's February 6th, and 75% of the rain LA usually gets in a year has already fallen. Now the ground is oversaturated and giving way. LA fire officials report more than 300 mudslides so far. Some motorists recording huge mounds of debris flowing on major highways. Other roads are submerged, like here in the San Fernando Valley, where one man waved down rescuers from the top of his car. And harrowing moments for a man who jumped into the fast-moving Los Angeles River to save his dog on Monday. First responders used a helicopter to lower down a rescuer. Fire officials say both man and dog were pulled out safely and are doing okay. The storm system also brought snow and strong winds to the Sierra Nevada mountains, causing chaos for many travelers and property owners.
This is our sack feed barn, which actually flipped from the wind over our fence and took out the business's boats next to us.
Officials in Butte County, north of Sacramento, have issued an emergency proclamation to bring in more resources as they and most of the state face a long cleanup ahead. In Los Angeles, with coverage you can count on, Mike Valerio, WAAY 31 News.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Castle with 31 Triple Doppler.
Boy, when the weather's good in California, it's great. And when it's bad, it is awful.
That system's going to make its way across the country to us ending this week.
Yeah, typically what comes into the West Coast eventually finds its way here to North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee, and that's what we're looking at. The timing, though, not ideal. It's raining in California right now, so guess when all that mess is going to get here?
Yeah,
the weekend. Usually takes it a few days to make that cross-country trek, and that, unfortunately, is where it puts us on the calendar. Let's kind of talk about it. That's really the next big thing that we are tracking. Those weekend rain chances, they will start to pick up beginning on Friday. 60% chance for rain during the day. Mostly, we're talking some scattered showers that will be coming on in. Rain chances increase Friday night. They go up into Saturday night as well. So right now, Saturday plans probably going to be a little difficult to get those in without dealing with some rainfall. Sunday, not as soggy. We may get a break for part of the day Sunday before the next wave comes in a little bit later into the afternoon and evening hours. And of course, we're still several days out, so I encourage you to check back with us for the latest updates. I'll, of course, have new information for you tonight at 10 o'clock regarding those rain chances. And meteorologist Grace Anello, she'll be in tomorrow morning, and she'll have the latest details as well as to how you can kind of plan around this rainfall. But right now, the way it looks, it's going to be a little difficult. How much are we talking about? Rainfall forecast through the next 7 days, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches here close to the Alabama-Tennessee line. You hit the Tennessee River point southward. Could be a few spots up to 3 inches of rain. I don't think we'll have anything excessive, anything that's going to cause any major flooding concerns out there. Really more nuisance rain than anything else as we work our way into the weekend, and we'll continue to provide those updates for you as we get a little bit closer. Right now, WAAY 31 Triple Doppler Network. No problems. We've got the sunshine and dry weather continuing for at least another day. Future radar is showing just some thin clouds. That'll be about it overnight into tomorrow morning. Otherwise, most of your Wednesday will look a lot like today. That means plenty of sunshine out there. Here we are at the lunch hour, looking dry and generally sunny. And for the late afternoon hours, around 5 o'clock or so, beginning to see some cloud cover coming on in. So this will be the first thing that'll change in our weather this week. Cloudiness will be on the increase heading into Wednesday night, Thursday morning as well, but no rain yet. 6 o'clock in the morning on your Thursday, overcast conditions expected, and will stay mostly cloudy through Thursday afternoon. But again, notice here, even at 5 o'clock on Thursday, we are still dry. We'll hold off the rain until we close out the week on Friday, when we'll start to pick up some showers again. Overnight tonight on into tomorrow morning, it will be another cold one. Some of you will hit freezing. Many of us will be close. Huntsville down to 34, Muscle Shoals the same, Scottsboro 34, 33 in Fort Payne, 33 degrees in Decatur. Forecast for you tomorrow, though, a lot like today temperature-wise. So cold in the morning, taking the dog out first thing, but into the afternoon hours, it'll actually feel pretty good. 52 degrees around 10 a.m. Lunchtime, almost at 60, and we'll be back into the 60s tomorrow afternoon with a light southerly breeze. About 61 in Gunnersville tomorrow, Moulton 66, 67 in the Shoals, Athens 65, and Huntsville, Madison area back up around 64 degrees. Checking things out here on your WAAY 31 Storm Tracker 10-day forecast. Again, sun tomorrow, clouds Thursday. Both days we stay mild in the 60s, but that less sun on Thursday means temperatures will go down just slightly. Despite the rain for the weekend, though, we do stay mild in the 60s for your highs, but do plan on the wet weather. Again, it'll be with us off and on starting Friday, continuing Saturday, Sunday, probably into Monday as well. And then we'll finally push the rain on out of here, and behind it, some cooler weather coming on in. I won't necessarily say cold, because 50s is what we expect in the month of February, not this string of 60s, so at least nothing super chilly on the way down. But cool afternoons, cold mornings will be back, but we do get a chance to dry out again next week.
Okay, we'll take that. Yeah. Just dress in layers.
Yeah, and we sure are enjoying the 60s while they're here.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Well, before you buy your yogurt, you may want to check the label. Dozens of dairy products now under recall. Why? Next.
Happening now, Rizzo Lopez Foods is recalling dozens of dairy products after a multi-state listeria outbreak. The outbreak has led to 23 hospitalizations, 2 deaths. dating back nearly a decade. But the CDC said it didn't have enough data until now to identify the source. And the recalled products were distributed nationwide and include cheese, yogurt, and sour cream sold under various brand names.
Madison Academy's annual Mustang Mud Run 5K is back, and you can reserve your spot right now. You can expect to slip, slide, climb, slog, and swing your way to a fun finish. It's set to take place April 13th. You can find a link to register online right now at waaytv.com. It'll be warm for that.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Okay, let's get a quick check on the forecast. You need rain to make mud.
You do, and we've got that.
Yeah.
We're going to have mud this weekend because rain is the operative word, so just keep that in mind. Wet weather coming on in, could be a little widespread in parts of the area come Saturday. We'll, of course, have another update on that weekend rain and your forecast coming up at 6.
All right.
WAAY 31 gives you 24/7 coverage you can count on, local news, breaking news, and severe weather.
And remember, you can watch us on all of our streaming platforms and download the only weather app with 3 live Doppler radars. World News Tonight with David Muir starts in just a few minutes right here on WAAY 31.
And we'll see you back here for WAAY 31 News at 6.